Welcome back to the Inner Alchemist TV. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look into Carlos King, the executive producer of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Before we get started, please like my video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and that you have your notification bells on. So I wanted to look at Carlos King in light of the loss of his recent employee. Or the recent loss of his employee, should I say. So I wanted to see where his head was at, see if I could gouge any information about the future of the show, and see just what comes up in general, right? So that's what we're going to be doing today. So listen, let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, when I was laying out the cards, I did get something at the bottom of the deck. Sometimes I end up flipping the deck and sometimes I don't. But when I do, I usually regard that as the overall energy of the spread. And I'm showing that maybe Carlos is like traveling. He's thinking about coming somewhere. I don't know if he's thinking about going to the services, if he's invited or not, or if he's trying to get away from it all and have maybe took like a mini trip. Or a road trip or something like that. But with the Six of Swords coming in as the overall energy, I find this as somebody who's trying to get out of Dodge. But it is also from an emotionally protective stance. So I don't know how good Carlos is doing necessarily on a mental or emotional level, because he has a lot of his mental cards in reverse. Ace of Swords is in reverse. Four of Swords is kind of like ruminating, right? Could be considered ruminating. So so that's what popped up anyway. So Carlos is coming in as the Two of Wands in reverse, and to me, I feel like a lot of this card is about ambitions. I have the Two of Wands in reverse, the Three of Wands upright, the World card upright. And I feel like this is a situation where ambitions have kind of got the better of you. Now, what's different, which I see in all the casts, right? Well, theirs is more so about money over ambition. And ambition and money are not the same thing, especially the pursuit, right? But theirs was about money. Carlos is about, I feel honestly this has to do with Andy Cohen, or even the network that he works for with all these white men. And I would have to assume that these men could possibly be part of the LGBT community as well. Whatever there is, it seems to me like in that community, there's a more leveled playing field, meaning that your race or your socioeconomic upbringing does not hinder you as much as it does in natural society, right? And so I feel like Carlos is in a highly competitive environment with his white predecessors or co-workers or colleagues. That's a good word. Colleagues, or even his boss. And for the most part, they have been regarded amongst their community as daddy. And Carlos has this longing or secret ambition in his heart about exceeding the status or position of daddy, right? Daddy, right, being those white executives in his community. Now, obviously, like I said, we're not looking at this through the lens of slavery or black and white as you and I see it. We're not looking at glass ceilings with black. No, we're looking at the LGBT community where you're gay first and you're black second, or you're a man third. You know what I mean? Where your sexual preference puts you guys all at the same level, right? As far as like competition is concerned. So there's like this belief in Carlos, and it is true, there is potential that he could surpass them under that particular umbrella. Whereas we know in normal society, white people are too competitive to let you surpass them. You know what I mean? But anyways, this is him trying to do that. And this is him saying that you're falling short. You will fall short. You're gonna fall short because you have the wrong intention for wanting to surpass them, right? Now, a right intention would be, let me get up in here, surpass them, and do better for the greater good of people or my community or my people or something like that. This is him just being a man, just being a man. War, money, competition, fighting, and this is the way that they do it. Honestly, I suspect too that when it comes to like, never mind. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. So Carlos has this dream of surpassing in his career ambitions the white boys. It's just that his approach in achieving that aspiration was off. And I think that is because he, like I said, had the wrong intentions. But there's definitely with the twos here, there's like a double-sidedness between what Carlos wants to be himself and what aspirations others have for him. You know what I mean? I think his aspiration is to usurp the powers that be, but their aspirations may be to use him to help them gain more. And I don't know, maybe there's like a balance in that or something like that. I don't see him juggling or balancing those two things, but I see him having them in clear eye focus and being kind of like tugged between the two. You know what I mean? It's like, do I sacrifice myself or do I go for mine? It's like that type of thing, right? I think with the show, this was something that started out well, but is not going to be able to reach the fruition that he wanted it to reach, right? Part of this show's success is what is going to help him in this competition with these white boys. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing that his desire to save the show or keep the show or anything like that has to do with the fight that he's having or his ambitions. Like, this is his project, right? But there were some things that Carlos did where he didn't think things through, and that could be things like jumping on every story. There was like a timing issue though. There's something that happened out of time or not in its due time that actually caused this show not to be able to propel the way that it was. He would rush things and maybe not let things kind of fully unfold. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because they have so many seasons, or maybe there's a pressure to produce content on just a flow basis that's not good for thought out content. But it's the feeling of this show being like rushed is what I'm trying to say, right? Yeah, so anyways, there was like, I feel like this show was supposed to be one of those things because it was aligned with maybe OWN. It was supposed to be one of those things that gave him a path to usurp. Honestly, I keep seeing Andy and Bravo. I'm wondering if OWN, like if he was, if they had aspirations of usurping Bravo as the content provider of women. You know what I mean? Because Bravo, even though it's not, even both networks cater to women, right? But which one would you say was the network for women? They're all trying to figure out what women watch, is what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't feel like Carlos means to hurt anybody. That's another consistent thing that I see with the readings. I saw it in Maurice's specifically, Kiki and Tisha, and now Carlos, people who are not malicious people, right? No hostility when it comes to, no hostility when it comes to other people, and just a general well-meaning, but also people who prioritize, I don't know, I feel like they prioritize their ambitions, you know what I mean? And it's like I say, I just personally feel like you need to ask people for their permission to their buy-in. Like me, I don't mind playing somebody's right hand. You know what I mean? I don't mind playing your background, and, helping you be the star, if you will, just by offering you ideas and, showing you different ways to look at things, helping you iron out your puzzle. But I wouldn't want to be tricked in that position, because one, you're denying me the validation of knowing that I have been able to be that to someone. Instead, what you have people is who will use you by that virtue, but never acknowledge that it was you who gave them that spark, or helped them in that way. They'll never acknowledge you for that. And it's not that you need acknowledgement, but it's kind of like, wouldn't it help me finite my values and my place in the world if you did acknowledge my good qualities and how much of a benefit I've been to you or humanity? No, you're not going to get that. Everybody wants and needs to believe they did it on their own, and it's like, where does that work at in a lot of cases, right? Unless you've chosen a solitary path, and in that case, I wouldn't exist in your background, right? But anyways, let's move forward. Okay, so Carlos, let's talk about his inner disposition. Now, this one I really wanted to talk about a little bit, because it was the Ace of Swords in reverse. And the Ace of Swords is about the truth. It's about communication. But in this reversal, I'm not seeing the opposite, which is lies. I'm seeing a person who maybe has trouble with communication, or the way that he communicates, because it's coupled with the World card. And I'm feeling like he's maybe unable to bring his point to a full, complete circle to where the overall vision is understood by others, or maybe even himself. Maybe he doesn't understand the overall or overarching vision. That's what I'm kind of seeing with this World card. The World card represents completion, but with the Ace of Swords, I feel like this is like mentally not being able to let something go. Or I don't know, it could even be just about a lack of power in some situations, like I said, and that could be just in being able to wrap the whole vision together and help make it understood what it is that you're trying to do, if anything. Whatever the situation is, I don't know, but when your Ace of Swords is in reverse, it's basically saying that your decisions, right? Ace of Swords about power, action. This is masculine yang activity, right? This is action. And it's saying that the shit that you've done has been more destructive than anything, than constructive. Nothing you have done, whether you mean well or not, because remember we saw that no malice, well-meaning. So then why is the shit that you're doing destructive? Why are you being destructive? And I think it has to do with what his real goal is that nobody is aware of. And maybe he doesn't want to make people aware of his goals because he has fear of failure. You know, like I was saying, that when you need people to participate in your success, maybe you should ask. Maybe people don't want to ask because they don't want others to know what they're doing. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily have to be about being ashamed of what you're doing, but maybe it could be about fear of failure. You know what I mean? It could be just about fear of failure, or fear that other people may. I don't see anybody as taking your idea to usurp the gay males in your industry, so that couldn't be it. But mostly I think it's probably fear of failure. I think if he voices that this is his objective and then he doesn't do it, it may cost him the faith of the people who see him in a certain light. Yeah, but anyway, so Carlos, with him coming in as more destructive than anything, I feel like this is like an ineffective or negative use of power. You know what I mean? Not necessarily abuse of power, but it's almost like you have a power to do something or to make something work, but then what you get out of that moment is just short-lived. You know what I mean? So it's not a lasting thing. It's just a moment. And honestly, for real, my mind is thinking to like capturing scenes or capturing good TV or capturing viral moments or conversation pieces. And then it's like, yeah, you get that, you know, yeah, you get people talking about it. Yep. You get those viral moments. Yeah, you got that. But nothing else is coming out of that, especially towards your ambitions to be better than the people who have come before you. You know what I mean? Like, negativity carries a lower vibration. And even though I think because black people have a scarcity mentality, or like I say, in survival mode, I think we feel that all money is good money, especially if it equates to millions. And it's like, but there's longer money out there. You know what I mean? There's a longer range in positivity. Like, when I look at sometimes the type of content that is getting millions upon millions of views, it's really things that make people smile. You know, whether it's a cooking show or a dancing TikTok, or just some type of feel good. It's like it shows by and large that people actually prefer positivity. But can you make virtue and positivity entertaining? Yeah, just be creative, well-read, cultured, add on to yourself, but don't go to the dark side, because it's kind of sleazy. You know what I mean? It's kind of sleazy. Anyways, Carlos right now with this ace of swords, he's very scattered right now. Like, he's all over the place, and things are complicated. And I don't know if this has to do with the passing of Kiki. You know what I mean? I don't know if they tried to get this on TV or had their producers poach those moments. I don't know. But it just seems like I said, what you're doing is not helping. What you're doing is not helping. Carlos is feeling that his efforts or works are sabotaged. And that he maybe put his trust in the wrong person, and that he needs to watch his back. That's what I'm seeing. However, the cards are kind of saying that, no, you're just not finding constructive ways to achieve your ambitions. You know what I mean? And instead of you dealing with the fact that you weren't being constructive, you are blaming the negativity of others, and basically kind of like accusing others of like sabotaging you or thwarting your efforts. But as opposed to looking at it like a lot of the things that you did were rushed, you were trying to capitalize here and there, and you just didn't produce things of quality that had a lasting range. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of the best way I could put this, really. The World card is fulfillment. The World card is, like I said, the end of a cycle. Things come in full circle. Things completing. It makes me wonder if the show will be completed. I did hear somebody say the show already got picked up for another season. I do notice the changes that they're making in the show. Strategic ice outs. I saw that. I did a whole tarot video on it. So I'm noticing the direction that they're taking it in. I am going to be reading Stormy. I know a lot of people were saying that she was quitting the show, but I was like, didn't y'all say that at the girls trip too? And where's the girls trip? Like, where's everything? Where's the content? Like, I'm so confused. I could never watch this show. My mind would be discombobulated if I stayed tapped in that way. But I don't know if I really think that she's leaving, as opposed to her taking more creative control, or even in a producer capacity on the show. I think that she's probably going to get into that, just with the way that she directs her own events and her vision. She's a visionary, and I could see her taking more of a visionary approach to the show. But that's just my instincts. I gotta look at her cards, and I haven't done that yet. So anyways, I don't know if the show is going to end, but this world card is a complete cycle to some bullshit for sure. But it's also indicative of Carlos, especially with his Ace of Swords in reverse, needing to find a balance between good and evil. And again, just being a man, pure raw male energy. I don't care if you're sweeter, I don't know, gay or not. They still have the same inclinations that testosterone puts inside of any male, right? And that's that desire to compete. That's the desire to compete for sure. for sure. But anyways, let's move on. In the spread, I want to talk about what's been going on right now. This is showing the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is about quiet contemplation. It's about thinking. It's about resting, recuperating. Sometimes being in a hospital. Now, in this situation, it's about being disarmed, right? But it's also about having something behind your back, right? So what this tells me is that Carlos does not show all his cards. He's not open-handed. I won't say he's not a person that throws the rock and hides his hands. He is a person that does not reveal his entire hand. And there's another play. I call it a play. There's another move that Carlos has planned, right? For whatever situation. I got the Four of Swords with the Three of Wands. This is a huge plan. This is a huge plan. I feel like in some other readings I felt myself saying things like an ace in the hole. I don't necessarily get that. I'm not seeing this as an aha. I'm just seeing it as Carlos's card has been pulled many times, but the real one is held close to his chest. But I'm wondering if that's the real one being his plan to be better than, the white boys, if you will. It's basically to me saying that he lost the battle with this show. I do believe that. Like I said, I believe things were rushed. I believe he had the wrong intentions. I believe that he was destructive more than constructive. And I feel like that was in his desire to draw and attract people to this show rapidly so that he could compete. I really just see it that way. This is saying that you lost this battle with this show, but the war you signed up for spiritually is still going on. You know what I mean? It's still going on. And I feel like this Four of Swords is like saying, get your rest, recuperate, get your full strength, but you got to go back in there and do what you said it is that you were going to do. Right? I feel like Carlos, with this Four of Swords, you could be under the weather. Like I said, sometimes it could be a hospital, a literal hospital with the Four of Swords. But this is somebody who is basically like off on their own, not attending to things. I think people ask questions about why he hadn't come out and said anything. With this Four of Swords, this is saying that either you're sick or you're just being a reclusive. Like you're just doing your own thing, not talking to anybody, not paying attention. Maybe he may not be looking at any of this stuff, right? Definitely. I feel like there's a sense of him being. This is not like an emotional depression, but there is to me a sense of him being down or feeling down. You know what I mean? But again, this is only the calm before the storm as it pertains to him. And I don't think the universe is going to give you the opportunity to tap out after you have kicked up all this dust behind your hidden agenda, basically is what I could say. Right? The Four of Swords to me represents with this sword underneath him behind his back. To me, is giving me hidden agenda. You know what I mean? In any event, Carlos is just deciding to or making. I don't know. He's falling back. He's falling back right now. He'll be back. He'll be saying something, but right now, I don't even think that he's watching everything. Or paying attention to everything. Like I said, I feel like he kind of tapped out a little bit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, though, I feel like he's just trying to figure out how to put things back in motion. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that has to do with the show or them. But for some reason, with this Four of Swords, I'm honestly getting them trying to figure out how to televise this stuff that's going on with Kiki. I really do. I don't know. and that not working out because of your intentions, which is to try to make the type of TV that will make you competitive with this whole other shit that you have going on. You know, like I say, all of us are just pawns. These actors in the shows, their families, their relationship, this is giving me pawn energy. Um, yeah, wow. So I really feel like they're trying to figure out how to do that. I don't know if it's in regards to conversations that are being had, but the Seven of Swords is down there too. It is in reverse, and it's with the Magician, and that's about some type of manipulation, sneaky manipulation going on. Um, they took some steps already towards this, whatever it was. I don't know if he sent a message, an email, or reached out to somebody, maybe the husband. But I feel like they're trying to capture this moment. You know what I mean? I feel like it's something that they feel that they haven't ventured into, as far as like television and family dynamics during funeral services. Um, yeah, and this Three of Wands is telling me that he's trying to figure out how to pull that all together, or if he would be able to pull that all together, for sure. And like I said, I don't know if somebody has reached out or if he sent production out, but somebody was like trying to build the confidence to kind of like command it in a way, you know, like trying to figure out how to present themselves to the family in a way that would make them feel like this was something they needed to do or had to do or wanted to do or should do. That's how I feel like they approach them. Maybe they're trying to suggest that there's something in it for Kiki's family, or maybe they're offering, I don't know, I don't see any pentacles, so I can't say that there's even any money that they're offering, or it hasn't gotten into talks of money, or they may be waiting for Kiki's family to mention it first. I'm not sure, but what I can tell you is that they're trying to trick them into giving them this moment. And honestly, too, with the Seven of Swords, though, you know, Seven of Swords, even though I don't think that's the context for this reading, but sometimes it can represent prudence. But that prudence is like, okay, I already got caught doing something bad, and now I'm trying to be on my best behavior, trying to detach myself, trying to stay out of things. So I'm trying to be on my best behavior and be on the up and up. But you also in denial about some of your shameful actions. Like, just cut it out. Like like, you need to just cut it out. Like, you know, it's almost like you ain't got no business doing no stuff like this, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you're trying to, I don't know, I want to say almost pretend like that's not what you're doing, you know what I mean? Like, you're coming under a different guise. Especially with this Magician card and this Seven of Swords, this is giving me like big shapeshifter energy, right? But not like an unconscious shape-shifting, like where you have emotions or, you know, high energy, and then, you know, because even you can shape-shift when you're just an animated personality, you know. But this is different. This feels more like a put together, like a PR's pitch to the family, though, that's grieving. I don't know. But it's feeling unethical to me. That's what I can say. It's feeling unethical. And with the Seven of Swords in reverse and the Magician, I'm almost feeling like you're trying to manipulate and put something together that's unethical, but you're going to get caught. And I don't know if that's because with this Three of Wands, I don't know if that is like three people are comparing or link or telling each other or something like that. Or maybe they're trying to go through Wanda and Letitia to figure it out, or they're going to just highlight them in the situation and, you know, make up the scenario, but it won't be the real thing. You know how they put those blurry cast members and audience there, you don't really know who it is. But I don't know, I just feel like something's trying to be like made up, you know what I mean? This is, the Seven of Swords can also be about slander, though. I feel like he's the topic of some discussion. Could be within the family, though. Because I feel like, maybe that's why I'm getting like somebody's onto him or comparing notes. Because even with the Three of Wands and the Seven of Swords in reverse, I'm getting like gossip amongst people, like 3 people. Or like I said, maybe they're like, oh, this is what he's trying to do. And they're like understanding what's going on, as opposed to him feeling like he's just like manipulating people in a way that has always worked. This is them like looking at him sideways. You know what I mean? And then this is Carlos turning around and looking at how he would be perceived publicly if he were to televise something like this, or even be caught or called out for trying to televise something like this. And so there was like a way that they had to communicate it, like say it without saying it or something like that. But it's almost like the people can see right through him and they talk about it. It's just like, like I said, like they're in Alabama. People may underestimate, their intelligence or their savvy or even their instincts, right? Because you don't have to be smart to be perceptive and have good instincts. You know what I mean? And some people will play along with you and let you think they dumb, and the whole time they got you. You know what I mean? So I'm feeling something like that going on. Like people think that they can maybe play in that family's face because they're not as intelligent, but the family is actually very astute and has like good instincts. Like they know what's going on in a way, right? I feel like Carlos is, I don't know. I feel like Carlos is self-destructing in some type of way, though. I don't know if this is like with this magician. I don't know if this is something where this magician represents a force working against him, or him self-destructing, because the magician is your own mind, will, and emotions. And when I see the magician in the Seven of Swords, I see self-destruction. I see you doing it to yourself. You know what I mean? Definitely. I feel like, I don't know, maybe the chickens have come home to roost. You know what this world card could be too, also up here? Maybe it represents the completion of a cycle, and everything. Like the wheel is usually what goes around comes around, and justice is usually karma. But with this world card looking like completion, it's looking to me like what goes around comes around, and karma all in one. But the kind that's inescapable because it comes from an incorrect premise. And I'm not even saying his premise is incorrect. If you want to fight, the television people, or that compete with the people who have been making content before you, and you guys want to compete with each other to make content for women, and you want Bravo to cater to the white women and you cater to the black women, and you're going to determine to be better than them, but you're sacrificing people in the process. That's honestly what I'm seeing. I don't see much more than that. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. We've gotten through the entire spread. Don't forget to like the video. Y'all know what y'all need. What we need. Shut 'em up water, because what I like about this shut 'em up blend that I have is that not only does it stop vicious gossip, slander, it also makes it all come back to your benefit, so that you come out roses in the situation in spite of negative energy blockers. My customers are always talking about how the ease they feel throughout their days and weeks when they're spraying that negativity blocker. It just literally removes it out of your peripherals, your straight vision, whatever it is. And then also protection. Protection is about not having to use brute force, but subduing people with grace, right? Just ease. Like, who want to be fighting and warring against something? Nah, just spray your stuff, breathe, and rock that shit, right? But definitely with this spread, you definitely need some protection and some financial stability. Family stability, because you can see how people can come from the outside and permeate things that you have personally going on, right? Yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. I don't really see like a bunch of healing things going on. I see proactive things going on. Like I said, protection, blocking negativity, blocking people from being able to penetrate your mind and your spirit and play on your emotions. No. And that's exactly kind of what I'm seeing and feeling. The signature spray is good too because it helps you to stay astute on guard, not guard, but mentally agile and alert. Now you have, sometimes the flow is rapid and you can't keep up. You know what I mean? But that spray will help you keep up. But anyways, listen, tell me what you guys think about the reading. Not quite what I was intending or expecting, but honestly, I would give it a 100%. It's on point. I can feel it. I always know when the readings are on point, and I always know where I'm confused, because it could be played in many different directions. This one, I clocked his ass. I clocked you, Carlos. But anyways, listen, y'all, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Turn your notification bells on, and I'll see you on the next one.